It's another Driving Through History, and I'm Meryl Goldsmith up in Kingfield, Maine, with Debbie and Mark Smith at the Stanley Museum. And we're going to take a tour of the museum because all the wooden bodies were actually constructed in Amesbury. Who would know that, this is what's underneath some of these beautiful cars, Debbie? I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's quite amazing, and it's so neat to see this original body and then see the car with a new body. But to see how well this has stood up for over 100 years, it's just amazing to me.
So, Mark, you've had a little project going on here, right? That we want to show everybody.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It is basically this same vehicle, and it matches ours that belongs to the museum, but this is one that's in production. So what we have here is a replica that we are building here, but it is going to be a Model 70 1910, where the frame would have originally been done in Amesbury, but this one is now a replica of it. And as you can see, they used the original body frame that's sitting here to build the body on this car. What you're looking at here is a new boiler. It's for a 20 horsepower car, and that's what these cars are. And they're old headlights, but they are original. And same with the cowl lights and steering wheel. A lot of it is original parts, but just put together on a car that's, a replica. The springs, front end, rear end is all original equipment that's been restored. And wheels are wooden wheels as original. Everything's going to be the same as what was back in 1910. I've got it full of tools right now, but your water tank will set in here, and that's why the body, as far as the front seats, are over sitting on the original frame over here, but it will come back to this car once I get the water tank put into place and plumbed. And so it's just like a gas stove. You have a pilot tank that runs all the time, a pilot light, and then once the burner gets warmed up, you switch over to kerosene, and that's what heats your water, and that's what's in the boiler. That runs at 600 psi, and that gives you the speed. And it is a 2-cylinder steam engine, and the engine is in the rear. So what we have here is an original 1910 Model 70 from Amesbury that is the same as what the one is that we're having made. There's steam pressure gauge there, your fuel gauge, your pilot gauge, and your throttle is up on the steering wheel. You've got water pumps that you regulate the amount of water in the boiler. So you have a few things to do when you're driving a Stanley. The engine itself is this piece right there. It's a 2-cylinder steam engine, and then your eccentrics are in the back part of it. And we'll go on the other side of the car, and I'll show you an actual engine laying over there too.
So what is this on the floor
this
here?
This is an actual 2-cylinder steam engine. This is what was in that copper case, but that's what goes underneath the boiler, and that heats the water in the boiler. The high vehicle, this is where I can reach, is just to here. So when you're driving down the road, you're riding, you're really up in the air. Yeah, and it's so wonderful because the sides are open. You get to see everything on the side of the road, which cars today, you don't have that much room. But with these back then, they were a little something different.
F.O. Stanley, one of the twins, developed tuberculosis when he was very young. In fact, several of his family members had it and died of it. He was told that he would have to spend some of the time in another place at a higher elevation, so he chose Estes Park, Colorado. He went out to Estes Park and designed and built the Stanley Hotel, which is still in existence there. known for The Shining, the movie from Stephen King. Some of it was produced there. One of the interesting things that he did with his car knowledge was that he designed what they called a mountain wagon, which was a 9 and then 12 passenger seat car that would go down to a town nearby and bring the folks up that got off the train, and they would come up and stay at the Stanley Hotel. Another interesting short little story that I'd love to tell is that the story goes that F.O. Stanley would sit on the porch and watch people come in, and as long as he thought they were of good character, he would nod his head yes or no. If he didn't think they were of good character, he would say no, and they would not be able to get a room at the hotel. Very interesting, good New England people. This is a 1909 Roadster. They only made about 100 of these cars. As you can see, it's quite sporty. There's no windshield. Everything is open. The big searchlight is on the front. Never knew for sure what that was, but it's my understanding that the front headlights were not that strong and did not go at much of an angle so that they would use a searchlight. This is one of the more expensive cars. This car is totally open, so the riding is a lot of fun. People often wear goggles in the front seat, and the back seat is not real comfortable. This building is known as the Stanley Museum now. It was a public school owned by the town of Kingfield. It was built in the early 1900s, I believe 1903. And as in most situations, the town overran their budget, and the story goes that the Stanley brothers paid off the balance of the school. What's more interesting is that the Stanley brothers designed this Georgian architecture. You'll notice the columns, which are unusual for this area of the state of Maine. They were also found in their homes in Newton, which they also designed. The windows over the door are stained glass windows that were redone by their great-great-granddaughter about 10 years ago. So this is quite an iconic building in the town of Kingfield. The town of Kingfield owns it, and the Stanley Museum pays $1 a year to use the building. We hope you enjoy your visit here and will decide to come visit us here in Kingfield.